Welcome to part 3 in a series of my coin collection. We're going to be going further into the collection. We'll be continuing with nickels and moving on from there. I'll show you some uncirculated pieces that I have right here. This is a Jefferson nickel. These are very common. If you look at change today, you see most of them. But of course, this date is an older date coin. That's a 1939. Uncirculated. Show you some more. It's a 1952. These were minted a very long time. 1938 to 2003. And I think the new nickels, they actually still have Jefferson on them. They were just redesigned. Another one. I'll show you a few more. Okay, another one. Uncirculated as well. Now the coins I have here are really interesting. These are known as silver nickels. Silver war nickels. Now the story behind these coins is that during World War II there was a very strong demand for a nickel. This is a fascinating story. So what they did was they needed nickel, and as a result they needed to compensate the nickel that they were going to put in the actual nickel, because they needed it for the war effort. So the metal that they actually used instead of nickel was silver. And that's shocking to think about, because silver is a precious metal. It's actually worth more than nickel is, but at the time nickel was in such demand. Demand is where the value is, so nickel was the metal that was needed. That was the metal that was in extremely high demand at the time, so they actually put silver in here. 35% silver. These nickels have 35% silver. Now, if you notice, they have a darkened color to them if you look closely. The metal composition of these nickels are actually 56% copper, 35% silver, and 9% manganese. And it was said that the darkened color is a result of the manganese content. And I heard another reason why is that sulfur exposure while in circulation, which is why it got a darkened color. So let me show you some of these in detail. Something else I want to show you about them, which is very interesting. Like I said, coins tell a story. That's one of the fascinating things about collecting them. Now, if you look on top of the dome, you'll notice there's a P mark, and that stands for Philadelphia. This was minted in the Philadelphia Mint. Now, many coins that the Philadelphia minted, they didn't put a mint mark on them. So that's what makes these different. And it's also quite large. Look at the size of that mint mark. This is a war nickel. And it's kind of interesting because it really wasn't a nickel at all. It had no nickel content at all. Like I said, it was made of copper, silver, and manganese. No nickel. Let me show you a few more of them. So these silver nickels or war nickels were minted between 1942 and 1945. Okay. Move on to dimes. And this is known as the Barber dime. It was minted by Charles E. Barber. From 1892 to 1916. This is a silver dime, 90% silver. This is the one actually minted before the Barber dime. This is a seated Liberty dime. Minted from 1837 to 1891. This is in 1839. It's called the Mercury dime. These were minted from 1916 to 1945. This is also a silver dime, 90% silver. All dimes, quarters, half dollars, silver dollars before 1965 were silver, 90%. I'll show you a few more of these. Okay, the next dime is the dime we know today, the Roosevelt dime, minted in honor of President Franklin D. Roosevelt. Looks like the common dime of today. The difference is this is a silver dime, 90% silver. to 1948. I'm going to move on to some quarters. Next quarter I'm going to show you is the Barber quarter, minted by Charles E. Barber, engraved, designed. This was designed by Charles E. Barber. The Barber quarter was minted from 1892 to 1916. Then came the Standing Liberty quarter, minted from 1916 to 1930, which we're about to show you right here. Very attractive coin. Flying eagle in the center, stars around it. Barber and Standing Liberty quarter. These are all silver coins. Like I said, 90% silver. And the 10% of it was copper. That was the other part of the metal that it was comprised of. There's another one. And next is the Washington quarter. This is the quarter you find in circulation today. Most of the quarters in circulation look like these, but of course, big difference is that these are silver. I'll show you some more. Okay, so that's part 3. Please stay tuned for part 4 in a series of my coin collection. Please like up this video and subscribe. And thank you for tuning in.